record. Recording has started, and then yes. Om Shanno Mitra Shamvarunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Dhritam Vadishyami Satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadbhaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So, just to recap here from yesterday, we have looked at the following things. We have said that we have just one line we did yesterday, and then we have said that this kamayatritvam is there for Brahman, and the status of being a desirer is there for Brahman, and that is the reason why it is not jada. Jada means dead and gone, or jada also means inert, insentient. So an insentient thing cannot create, an insentient thing cannot desire. So therefore Bhashyakara brings in the sentiency aspect by saying, look, it is sentient, that's how it can desire. So it has desire, it has the desiring power, therefore it is sentient. And then the Purva Pakshi, the objector, takes it to another place and says, how can it desire? What is this desiring? And this desiring must be asmadadivat, like us. Like us means people in the world. And who are the people in the world? Anapta kamaha. Anapta kamaha means they have a lot to achieve. They are unfulfilled. Apta, fulfilled. So aptam kamam, aptaha kamaha yena, by whom all the desires are already fulfilled. But very few people are like that, unless there is a jnani. We are talking of everybody being hungry for something or the other. I have to achieve this, I have to do that, then I have to please these people, then I have certain responsibilities. All these things are there. And then that's what happens. You just go out here to the walk on the Ganga and you will see everybody is going somewhere or doing something or the other. Probably they are thinking the same of us when we walk, but it is very clear that there are many and competing desires. So the Purva Pakshi goes off on a different tangent and says that this Brahman must be the most unfulfilled fellow ever. Why? Because so many desires and so much pressure to create because of the desire. And then to which Adi Shankara just says one word, na swatantriyat. Swatantriyat means because of Brahman being free. And that freedom we saw from many, many different angles. First is freedom from restlessness. That restlessness, wants the hands to do some cheshta. Something or the other have to be doing. And thank God everybody has a phone in the hand now, because some tick, 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 it'll keep on. I don't even know how they do it. It's clearly out of this generation, it is a new generation thing, very quickly using the thumbs. And I think that the generation, the next generation of people will be already having long thumbs because of overuse of the thumbs. And so like this, there is this is what this is, so that creative restlessness, does Brahman have? No, nothing to achieve, because Brahman is, as Adi Shankara says, not anapta kama, apta kama. And this is what Lord Krishna will say in our Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 3. In chapter 3, he will say, look, Arjuna, I am, I have nothing to fulfill. And he says, I am apta kama. Na anaptam aptavyam, means there is nothing that is anapta, not gained, that has to be gained. Aptavyam. Tadhi varte karmani. Even then I'm doing so much. I killed Kaliya, I troubled Mother Yashoda, I'm doing so many things. I killed Kamsa, and then I stole from the Gopikas. See, so many things I'm doing in the world. And then what is that? That mountain I lifted with my little finger and saved all the people from the deluge. And as Vishnu, I went to the service of Gajendra, who was being caught by the crocodile. And all these are metaphors. Crocodile is Ajnanam, and Gajendra is a devotee. That is what it is. So, like this, the represents the devotee. So, like this, I have done so many. न किंचित partha asti trishu lokeshu karma. In all the three worlds I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to gain that is lost. I have nothing that is lost that is to be regained. Still I keep doing work. Why? To set an example, says Bhagavan. यदि अयम अहम न वर्तेयम जातु कर्मणि तंद्रितः मम वर्त्मा अनुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शंकरस्य कर्ता स्याम उपहन्याम इमाः प्रजाः. Very compelling argument. He says, why does Bhagavan do anything? Bhagavan does to help us to keep doing until the time the person gains Atmajnanam. Until Atmajnanam, one cannot be without action. Otherwise, peril will result, because one will become a procrastinator and one will become a burden on Mother Earth. Lackadaisical, low energy, not because there is any problem. It's just, why should I do anything? That kind of a thing is there. So that should not happen. So therefore, even though Bhagavan is fulfilled, something or the other Bhagavan is doing, we learn this from the Bhagavad Gita chapter. So it's not out of restlessness. It's not out of some inner pressure to look good. Who will Bhagavan look good to? Who else is there other than Bhagavan? Nobody else is there. So all these motivations we saw. So therefore, the doing is totally out of a sense of Swatantriyam. Swatantriyam means centered on oneself, not centered on approval, not centered on anything. So this is what we saw yesterday. And then so therefore Kamaitritvat, then that, and the Purva Pakshi says maybe he is Anapta Kama, this Bhagavan, na swatantriyat. And then he says the following: यथा अन्यान् परवशीकृत्य कामादि दोषाः प्रवर्तयन्ति न तथा ब्रह्मणः प्रवर्तकाः कामाः. So just like the desires catch hold of people, what do the desires do? They catch hold of people, and then they put them in a kind of a spin cycle, like in the washing machine when it goes fast and spins. That is what the desire does. It does a number on you, and then what does it do? It makes you lose your equanimity. And so paravashikaranam means one is possessed of the desire, and one thinks it's harmless. I have this desire, it's a hobby, it's wonderful, it's nice. And then what happens? The desire possesses you. It's like that man who was going in the desert along with a camel, and then at night he pitched the tent. His name was Muhammad. So Muhammad was going with a camel and he had a tent. He pitched the tent. Desert nights can be very cold. So in the this thing, and then he was in the tent, tied the camel to one of the what is that, nails of the tent, pegs of the tent. Then the camel woke him up in the middle of the night. My feet are so cold, master. Can I just put my feet in the tent? This man was half asleep. Yeah, yeah, sure. And 1 hour later, can I put my nose in the tent? My nose is so cold. Touch it and see. Okay, okay, fine. Because he didn't want to be woken up. And then again, my neck is, I have a long neck and my neck is so cold. It's freezing. Can I put my neck in the tent? Shut up, do whatever you want. Next morning, camel inside the tent, Muhammad outside the tent. And so this is what happens with the desire. First, you possess the desire, and slowly, slowly, sweetly, sweetly, it possesses even before knowing. It's like that martial art called jiu-jitsu. Small person, thin, small, wry fellow. And then this big hulk of a person who has won many wrestling matches in his own country has come. And so, and very nicely he does namaste like this, elaborate namaste. And that person doesn't know how many namastes and bows you should do, because it's all scripted. This person just comes and keeps on doing namaste. He doesn't know. And then at the last namaste, takes him, twirls him around, and then uses his own strength and bashes him on the floor. This is exactly what the desire does. So the desire flips the script and possesses you. You are no longer the possessor. What are you? Possessed. Like bhoot, bhoot means like a possessed of some kind of a entity. So this desire has become an entity that is possessing you. And that is like that for the human being? Is it like that for Brahman? No, cannot be like that. This is what is called kamadi doshaha paravashikritya pravartayanti, means they make you run. Kama makes you get up in the morning. This is what it is. Prarabdha karma in the form of kama makes you get up in the morning. And that may, even if the desire is, okay, I want my coffee, that is itself enough. That itself wakes you up in the morning. Kama puts you to sleep. Kama wakes you up. And so therefore, this is how it is for all the people. Na tatha brahmanaha pravartakaha kamaha. Not in this way, Brahman is troubled by desires. Na tatha, not like this. Katham tarhi, why? Satyajnana lakshanaha svatmabhutatvat vishuddhaha. Vishuddhaha means pure, free of motivations such as guilt and hurt. We have been hearing a lot in both the classes about guilt and hurt. And so this guilt and hurt makes you do all kinds of awkward things. And to get away from the guilt, you have to do more things. And then you are left even more guilty than you started with. Why did I do this? Why did I not do this? Same Upanishad will say. Why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I do the wrong thing? Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam iti. The same Upanishad later on will tell us. And so this is the idea. What is this going on here? Brahman is not troubled by these asmadadivat, means like the people in the world. It is not troubled by guilt. It is not troubled by hurt. It is not troubled by any motivations in order to gain something or to get rid of something. This is the main motivations, or to get rid of guilt, hurt, etc. Why? Because what is the nature of Brahman? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And so, as we have seen, the effect, the cause inheres. So, any desire coming out of Brahman will be Satyam, Jnana, Ananta Lakshanaha. It will have the same traits. It will have the same definition. So, the desire is Satya. That's why Brahman and Jnanis are called Satya Sankalpa. Whatever they think happens, comes to fruition, comes true. And then Satya Sankalpa, Satya Kamaha, all this will come in the 8th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, where the Asuras and the Devas hear Prajapati talking about the Atma. And then there, it's a very nice thing. Atma, apahata papma, free of papa, means guilt and hurt, free of guilt and hurt. Atma is being revealed. Ajaraha, vijaraha, free of old age. Vimrityuhu, free of death. Satya kamaha, satya sankalpaha, all this he says. And then naturally Asuras also want Atma, want Brahman. And Devas also want Brahman. And that is the story. They go to the Prajapati's ashram and stay there in order to learn this knowledge. And one person who is deputed from the Devas goes, and his name is Indra, the king of the Devas. And then Virochana, who is the head of the Asuras, he fights it out, and then he says, he self-appoints himself and goes. And then he learns the wrong things. And then comes back and starts one Asura Vidya Gurukula. He starts, not Arsha Vidya Gurukula, Asura Vidya Gurukula he starts, where he says body is Atma. That is what he starts. Because of his own pressure, he misunderstands this, and he does not correct his wrong understanding. But any desire coming from Brahman is Satya Kama, Satya Sankalpa, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It is in the form of knowledge, because you can't desire anything without knowing what you are desiring. And third, it is Ananta. That's why the Jagat is the Jagataha Anantyam. The Anantyam of the Jagat, the endlessness of Jagat is a reflection of the unending nature of Brahman and Bhagavan. So here, this is what is, so Satyajnana Lakshanaha, and then Kamaha. It is all qualifying what kind of desires. Then Svatma Bhutatvat Vishuddhaha. Svatma Bhutatvat means it is in the form of the desirer. There is no separation between desirer and desire. This is something we cannot even fathom, because for people in the world, our desires are always object centric. And so the desire is out there. I want to gain this. So it may not be an object, may be an accomplishment. That's still an object from the standpoint of the Shastra, and from the standpoint, more equally importantly, from the standpoint of the Samskrita language. Vishaya. Vishinoti badhnati iti vishayah. Badhnati means that which binds. Vishinoti means that which ties you up. Like a robber comes and then says, don't move, and ties you up to the chair or table, wherever you happen to be sitting or standing, and then relieves you of all your belongings. Similarly, the desire ties you up and relieves you of your viveka completely, robs you of your viveka, shamadama, etc. This is what the desire does. And so this way, for Brahman, this kind of a desire is not there, because it is not object-centric. Brahman being everything, what will the Brahman desire? Because there is nothing other than oneself. So it's like, if you can imagine somebody in the boat, marooned in the sea for many, many days. They have in fact even given up hope that somebody will come. One person we read recently in the news survived 21 days on a small boat in the middle of the ocean on ketchup packets. Tomato ketchup? Yeah. Ketchup packets were the only thing left in this boat. And I think it was some small fishing boat or something. It got unmoored and went off into the ocean. And then there must have been a few things to eat and drink. He finished that, and then he survived on ketchup packet for 27 days. There was lots of ketchup packets. Every 2 to 3 hours, he would open one small, just these 3-inch ketchup packets which they give along with some takeout. That one, he just kept on eating that. And the ketchup company, after that, they felicitated him with a huge ketchup bottle. Probably not a very good idea, because by that time he was sick of ketchup, I'm sure. So this is so like that, for that person, the one who was on the sea, if you ask that person, forget being rescued, that is of course the main and the only desire, I want to be rescued. But if you say, what would you like to have, they will laugh at you, because what else is there? There is just salt water everywhere. There's nothing other than that boat and that person. So similarly, in a slightly better way, for Brahman is Purna, and there is nothing other than Brahman. So Brahman's desires are not object centric. What are they? Subject centric, centered on oneself. This is what is called Svatmabhutaha, centered on oneself, because there is nothing else. What else is there? Nothing else is there. Even space is not there. All that is there is oneself alone. See, in the Puranas, we have this very nice imagery. Shiva is in meditation, and then Parvati comes and dances, or he hears the anklet bells or the bangle bells, and then he wakes up. Initially, he is a little upset of being woken up from samadhi, from meditation. But then he says, okay, I will take you as my wife, or something like that. This is all very picturesque. This is all Vedanta, to be understood in simple language. Similarly, Brahman, nothing but itself. It is of course absorbed in itself, and there is nothing, there is no gender, there is nothing there. And then this Agamanam, the arrival of Parvati, is that as though Maya Upadhi. She comes, and then there is a little disturbance. So there is that's why the eyes are open, and then that she creates the disturbance, as though the kind of disturbance like a little grain of sand in the mother of pearl, which makes that little being go spin with its saliva and make a beautiful pearl. So here also there is an as though disturbance into this laya, which is all laya, and then he says, okay, you become my upadhi. They become one, in that sense that he uses this Maya Upadhi. She is all knowledge, resplendent goddess, and then she is the creatrix of the universe, and he is the knowledge behind the universe. And the two have to work in tandem. It cannot be that one is greater, one is lesser, nothing. It's just wonderful. So there is nothing other than oneself to desire. So Swatma Bhutaha and Kamaha, and then therefore Vishuddhaha. Vishuddhaha means free of motivations. All the kamas in the universe are full of motivations. I want to get ahead. Why? Because I want to show him I'm better than him. ah, Even though that may not be articulated, it is deep down somewhere. I'm going to do this first. Why? Because my whole life I was last. So I want to now be first. I was the last child, I was the last this, I came last in everything. And then I was also sitting at the end. And so I was not in the front anywhere. And so now I want to be out in the front and show everybody what I can do. Then why you want to show everybody what you can do? Because I am unacceptable to myself. So these motives are what are called ashuddhaha. Ashuddha, not that because they are wrong, but because they take us down the path of desire fulfillment to the exclusion of knowledge. So here, Brahman has no pressure to create, and Brahman is not responding to any long-held problems, core issues, core emotional issues, or any kind of I'm going to show them, I'm going to show this one, or any kind of grudges to be settled. Brahman doesn't have any accounts to be settled. There are no accounts to be settled. What is there to be settled? Nothing at all. And so, therefore, the Kamaha are Vishuddhaha. You see how different Brahman's desire is from the desires of the people in the world. So, they are Vishuddhaha. Nataihi, here is where today we are going to start. Nataihi Brahma Pravartayati. Taihi Kamaihi. But due to those desires, Brahman is not manipulated. Brahman is not manipulated. न प्रवर्तयते तेषां तु तत् प्रवर्तकं ब्रह्म प्राणिकर्म अपेक्षया. So then, see, desire takes place, and then because of desire, there is what? There is the karma, action. And here, what is the karma? Of creation. And just now we have been spending 1.5 days deciding that Brahman does not have desires. But then there is a logic. Without desire, there is no karma. So then how does this karma of Jagat Karanam, this creation of the Jagat, how does that take place? How does this karma, where does Brahman have karma? No. Does Brahman have any kind of something to want? No. Then how does this action of Jagat construction, Jagat creation take place without any karma? Karma is there, but it belongs to the living beings who are saying, let me out, I have things to fulfill. All the things which Brahman doesn't have, these fellows have. Who are these fellows? Jiva wannabes. They are not yet jivas. They are jivas wannabes. I want to be separate from you. Why aren't you happy being Ishvara? It's boring. Been there, done that. Abhi kuch naya chahiye, something new. This is what constitutes a jiva. And so this Maya Upadhi, which is the Upadhi for Ishvara, she casts a shadow. And that shadow is Atma Ajnanam for these jivas. Avidya becomes the Upadhi. We have studied this in TB, not tuberculosis, Tattva Bodha. Okay, so you have to be careful using these things. So then, this Maya casts a shadow. Naturally, she is all resplendent, all knowledge, but the Jiva comes out in her shadow. The shadow side of Maya becomes the covering, the avarana for the Jiva. The bright side of Maya becomes the Vikshepa Shakti of Ishvara. All knowledge, without knowledge, how can there be projection? There cannot be projection without knowledge. So Ishvara thinks, it happens. Ishvara, Ishvari together. Ishvari thinks, it happens. You think, just like in the dream. You don't have to get stressed. Oh, I have to make mountains. I have to have a flowing water. I have to have kayak. Kayak. And I have to have this, I have to have that. Ayyo, I forgot wetsuit. All these things you don't have to worry about. You think about it in the dream, it is there. Similarly, Ishvara, Ishvari, they have a wonderful dance. Ishvara's dance is called Tandava. Ishvari's dance is called Lasya. Because without Lasya, the Tandava is too prachanda, too, what should I say, too intense to even understand. The Lasya brings it to the level of human comprehension, understanding, enjoyment. So that is, they are all step in step, and they don't ever have a misstep. And they don't step on each other's toes either, because they don't have two left feet. It's all in the form of glorious orders. The physiological order, the anatomical order that governs the body is non-separate from them. Everything comes, we will see this. But for now, this is how the thing comes. This is how the Jagat comes. It is not out of some kind of a mistaken or a desire out of a sense of incompletion. And then so he says that so therefore the prani karmas become the raw material. So she casts a shadow that becomes ajnanam for the jiva, and the ajnanam leads to desire, and they already from the previous cycle of creation, they were jivas wanna be. They were resolved into Ishvara, because that cycle of creation along with the karmas became latent. Now they are coming back into manifestation, and they went into a place of demanifestation. But everything went into a state of demanifestation. Bodies went into a state of demanifestation. Minds went into a state of demanifestation. And this sanghata, the what is that? The ears, eyes, all the sense organs, karya karana sanghata, they also went into the demanifestation. And the desires also went into a state of demanifestation, but they were all there in abeyance. They were all in a latent form, not dynamic, latent form. The desire was there. And then when Maya Shakti dances, the desires come out. Along with that, the Jiva says, I need a body. If you are disembodied and you have desires, there's nothing sadder. This is what we hear in this, what is that? There's a children's book in India. I don't know if it's still there. Chanda Mama, these kinds of stories only. Yeah, these kinds of stories of how one became a disembodied being with a lot of desires. So what do? You use other beings, you enter them forcibly and try to fulfill your desires. So here they all clamored for body. But what's the use of a body when there is no place to put the body? So first they need a, what is that? They need a nice jagat to have their own dance, because they are not in step with Ishvara's dance. They are not in tandem anymore. They want to separate. There is a riot. There is a quiet revolt. A revolt of Ajnanam and Kama. There is a revolt. I want to be an individual, just like a 2-year-old. Can't even say shoe, but wants to tie his own shoes. And the mother says, you can't do that yet. No, I want to do it by myself. Shoo, go away. And pushes the father away, pushes the mother away. Just like that, the jiva turns away from Ishvara, Ishvari, and wants to start its own life. And that karma, because the karmas was in a place of latency. What kind of karma? Sanchita karma alone. We are not yet talking of prarabdha. Agami is yet to come. Sanchita karma, which was all balled up. Collective sanchita karma of all the pranis. Think about it. Unimaginable. One person's sanchita karma is unimaginable, endless, but the collective prani sanchita karma, out of that alone, this jagat is created. And what is this sanchita karma? All the unfulfilled desires. So Bhagavan looks at that, and out of compassion, Bhagavan and Bhagavati say, all right, so this batch, it's a batch affair, because no jiva wants to be an island. That's why they are separating, because they are sick of being Brahman, because of the shadow side of Maya. That Ajnanam hasn't gone. And when Maya wakes up, the Ajnanam also wakes up and demands to be separate. I want, just like these people, some rebellious people say, I want a separate country and I want to do this. I want to secede from India. Even in America, they say, I want to secede from America. I want to be a separate country. Some small state which doesn't even have any way of defending itself wants to be a separate country. So too, this jiva wants to be separate. So the collective sanchita karma becomes the impetus for the creation, because Brahman has no karma, and so the creation borrows the karma from the jivas, borrows the karmas from the pranis. Jiva doesn't mean human being. All the beings, whatever they were, they are in the latent form. Right now they don't have any body, so they are just jivas. Tasmat swatantram kameshu brahmanah. So Brahma, so the Brahman is not, Brahman's desire is not paratantra. Paratantra means dependent upon karma, dependent, it is Swatantra. Ataha na anaptakamam brahma. So beautiful. Look at this whole way, how he brought it back to this aptakamatvam. Fantastic. Ataha, therefore, na anaptakamam brahmanaha. So, na anaptakamam brahma. So, there is no such thing as an unfulfilled Brahman. So, the desire, the kind of desiring and the status of the desirer that we know is always from a place of unfulfillment. For Brahman, it is always complete and fulfilled. And then the unfulfillment comes from the prani jatam. Jatam is group of pranis who are saying, who are behaving like pranis and saying, let us out, we are sick of here, we want a land, we want a body, we have desires and we need to fulfill them. So for their sake, the Jagat is as though being created. Then this was all just one reason within many sub-reasons. Then he gives the second reason why why Brahman is not anapta kama, why Brahman is not a mess of unfulfillment. Then he says sadhana antara apekshatvat cha. Sadhana antara anapekshatvat cha. Sadhana means antara, different from oneself. Anapeksha, no expectancy. So what does this mean? Because of the non-dependency on various kinds of sadhanas. Now, so independent of sadhanas. And so sadhanantara anapekshatvam asti brahmanaha. Sadhanantara means, many things. First, there should be an object outside of yourself to desire. Let's just take idli, okay? Yeah, idli is where outside. Idli is not yet inside. So this outside idli means, how will you describe idli? Some kind of a rice lentil patty. Okay, yeah, so this is idli. So idli is where? Outside. So this outside idli, where is the desire? Inside. Okay, so this is already a problem because the desire is here, idli is somewhere there. Idli is now just an idea. Idli is not really there. Idli is in the mind. So first you need the mind to desire the idli, that is itself a sadhana. And then you need the mind in a different way. Then you need the buddhi to plan how I'm going to have the idli. So many sadhanas are needed. You have to buy lentils, urad dal. Then you have to have rice. And in some miraculous proportion, which only the people who make it all the time know, it has to be mixed. It has to be made wet and kept soaked for so many hours overnight. And then after that it has to be ground. Then I can have idli? No. Then it has to do something called ferment. And in this kind of a weather, that's the whether it will ferment or not is itself a big question. Okay, so then finally it ferments. Can I have my idli now? No. Then you need those funny looking molds. Okay, like it'll be 3 or 4 and then it'll be stacked up like that. And then you have to oil the molds, and so that it does, your idli should not get stuck to the mold. Then you have to oil the mold and you have to pour little bit. Then can I have the idli? No. First you have to heat up a little bit of water in a steaming pot, and then you have to put these molds inside and then close it, and then 10 minutes later then you can have your idli. Oh, but where is the chutney? Ayyo. Then you have to do the same thing for the chutney. You need some kind of dal, you need coconut, or you need tomatoes, and you need something to bash up all these things either by hand or in a blender. And then you need all the spices. and then all that you need. Are you ready to have your idli now? No, because first I need eyes. I have to see whether it is nice. Then I need a nose, because then I have to take in the smell of the idlis. Because if you have no smell, you try this. You put a clothespin on your nose tomorrow for lunch. You will hate lunch because you will not be able to smell anything at all. Plus, whatever friends you had will not be anywhere near you, because they will be they will be convinced that the person has lost their marbles. And so if there is no smell, you cannot enjoy the food. So you need nose. Then what else do you need? Can I enjoy my idli? No, because you need tongue. Oh, good. Now I can enjoy my idli. Not yet, because when it go, you need the throat, because you can't just keep chewing it. It's idli. It's not chewing gum. Okay, so it has to go in. So then all this should be clear. You should not have, what is that, acid reflux and other problems. Then now is the idli enjoyed? No. Then you have to have a proper gut and stomach to be able to digest it and eliminate what is not needed, etc., etc. How many sadhanas? You can't even count. You can't even count. A simple desire, let me have some idli tonight, that itself leads to so many sadhana. Antara apeksha is there for all the beings. All the beings are having what is called sadhana antara apeksha. So, but here what is there? Sadhana anantara apeksha. No, anantara means not there. So, sadhana anantara. Anantara means antaram na vidyate. So, there is no difference. There is no space. There is no time that is separating the desiring Brahman. There is no from the object of desire. Absolutely no space, absolutely no time, nothing intervening between the desirer and the object of desire. So, because you see, with the jivas, the desired object is what? Anaptam, not aptam. It is far away from me. And it should be ishta vishaya. It should something, it should be there. So then every desire is dependent on a series of sadhana, sadhya, karya, karana, all these things. And the physical body should be there, mind should be there, all these, and then somebody should be there who is enjoying, for whom the desire is, the one who says, I am the enjoyer of the idli. And then if you look at Bhagavan, no object outside. Who will get Bhagavan idli? No one. And that idli is not even an object of desire. And Bhagavan does not have identification with a particular body, mind, sense complex in order to be anapta kama. Anapta kama means an unfulfilled person. See, an unfulfilled person is unfulfilled because of limitations centered on the body mind complex. Because I have a body, that itself makes me a candidate for unfulfillment, apurnata. So this is how it is, because I have a body. But why should I be a candidate for apurnata? Because I am only in this body, I am not in that body, and I am not the whole world. So there is limitations, size wise limitation, and what I am able to take in, limitations. I may love idli, but I can't go to an idli contest and sit there and eat 105 idlis. Not possible. And then even the people who do that have to sit in the bathroom for the next 3 days, I'm sure. They are not able to digest everything, because this is all the limitations about the connected to the body mind complex, body mind sense complex. Brahman, who is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, has a special Maya Upadhi, which is what? Which makes Brahman Sarvagya. And there is no antahkarana. Brahman doesn't have ahankara. No antahkarana. It is knowledge without a head to hold it in. That's why it is limitless. Here it's knowledge with the head. So the head, the skull bones become the delimiting factor for knowing more. That is why it is there. So therefore, the person always have alpatvam, smallness, except in sleep, where that karana called ahankara is asleep, and so there is no body consciousness, there is no mind consciousness, there is no desire consciousness, there is no I don't have anything consciousness, all that is not there. And so therefore one is able to be very calm in sleep. Even if you are not calm, the other people around you are happy, you are asleep, okay, they are calm. And so so that's why there is, you are aptakama in sleep, or when you are a jnani. And so therefore what therefore this is the this is how Brahman, to fulfill the desire on part of Brahman, there is no dependence upon any other factor, even the body, mind, senses are not involved. That Maya Upadhi which makes Brahman into Ishvara is just making Brahman into Sarvagnya, as though, we have to keep saying as though. And so therefore there is not one physical body that Brahman identifies it with to say I am I am unfulfilled, I am small. Neither the unfulfillment is there nor the smallness is there, and that's what he's going to explain now. Kincha yatha
किञ्च
अन्ये अन्येषाम्
अन्येषाम्
अनात्मभूताः
आत्मभूताः
धर्मादि
धर्मादि
निमित्त अपेक्षाः
निमित्त अपेक्षाः
कामाः
कामाः
स्वात्म
स्वात्म
व्यतिरिक्त
व्यतिरिक्त
कार्यकरण
कार्यकरण
साधन
साधन
अनंतर
अनन्तर
अपेक्षाः च
अपेक्षाः च
न तथा ब्रह्मणः
न तथा ब्रह्मणः
निमित्तादि
निमित्तादि
अपेक्षत्वम्.
अपेक्षत्वम्.
Yeah. So this is important. So na tatha brahmanah nimittadi apekshatvam. Nimittadi apekshatvam brahmanah na. Okay. Na tatha, in the not in the same way. This is a viparita drishtanta. So we have two kinds of illustrations. So yatha means just as. So like we can say, for example, the jnani is like a lotus leaf upon which the beads or drops of guilt and hurt and kartritvam, bhoktritvam do not stick. Okay, so this is what is called just as, just like the lotus leaf, the jnani is. So this is this is the sadrishyam. So there is a drishtanta based on how it is. Now this one is called viparita drishtanta. This is exactly how it is not. And how is Brahman not is going to be talked about word by word. So let us look at this here. So what is the desire of Brahman? Not. So then, so yatha anyesham means what? Jivanam. Other, for like other jivas. So what are these other jivas? Anatma bhutaha. Anatma bhutaha means everybody is Atma. Anatma bhutaha doesn't mean they are not Atma. They don't know they are Atma. Means ajnaninah. These ajnanis who depend on, whose kamas depend on dharmadi nimitta apekshaha. Dharma means here papa, punya, etc. Because in order for a desire to be fructified, then you need some punya. You have to mine some punya in the bank, and then you have to say, come on punya. How do you say, come on punya? You have to go to the temple and you have to stand there with folded hands. That's how you summon the punya. Summoning the punya is through prayer. Punya is already here, it has to be tapped. That's what it is. Because it is surrounded by papa, and the papas have to be dismissed. Then punya can emerge, and so it has to be tapped. And then how is it tapped? With the help of the grace of the Lord, it is tapped. And so therefore, that punya and papa here is called dharma. Dharma and adharma. So that dharma, adharma, dharma, adharma, and these becomes the nimitta. Nimitta means the conditions, the conducive conditions. So not only am I dependent for my idli on various things that we saw, countless number of things have to come, and then we can even go further and say that somebody has to grow the rice, somebody has to harvest the rice, and all these things. And then so countless numbers of things have to come. Still I may not have my idli, because what happens? I'm about to eat it, and then a monkey comes and takes it away. Finished. Why? Dharmadi nimitta apekshaha kamaha. So punya wasn't there. After all that ayasa, effort, one crow came and snatched it away. Finished. And we are supposed to feel happy because the crow is the avatara of the ancestors. So then when crow comes and takes something away, that means some ancestor came. And so we are supposed to feel happy. So, but anyhow, so monkey comes, crow comes, dog comes, and or you drop it. You supposedly just drop it. You can't, it's on the floor. Dog comes and takes it away. And so this is what dharmadhi nimitta apekshaha kamaha swatma vyatirikta स्वात्म व्यतिरिक्त कार्य कारण साधनांतर अपेक्षाः च. So we saw other than oneself, swatma vyatirikt, other than swatma, oneself, karya karana, the body mind sense complex, expectation is there. All these things are there for that desire to have conducive conditions for fulfillment. न तथा ब्रह्मणः निमित्तादि अपेक्षत्वम्. न तथा, न तथा ब्रह्मणः. It's not like that for Brahman. So this is ayatha or viparita drishtanta. Then he is going to ask, kim tarhi, how come? Swatma ananyaha kamaha. Those kamas are not other than oneself. Oneself alone, or the jivas are not other than oneself. Kamas are not other than oneself. Nothing is other than oneself. So therefore, the Mr. Purva Pakshi or Mrs. Purva Pakshi, whoever you are, shut up, will you? Because we are going to go ahead with the text. So, Kamayate, we are going to see the meaning. Because we are done with the Purva Pakshas for now, since I have just given the meaning of this and not gone a little bit into detail, I will do that next week. And then the Purva Pakshis are going to be sung a little lullaby, put to sleep, so that we can go with the text and see what is exactly being taught. When? Next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Lots of prasad is there. Give. Yeah, you can look at all of them. Yeah, give. They should unmute themselves. But I'm not hearing anything that they are saying. Yeah.
नमस्ते अर्पण जी.
Namaste.
Namaste,
Yeah.
Arpanji.
So let's introduce them. This is Shiva. This is Shiva right here. And this is Naga, Nagarjuna. And that is Yash. Yes.
Namaste.
Everybody got? Everybody got?
नमस्ते.
Namaste.
Om, have a nice dinner. Om Namah Shivaya. Puja Swamiji. All Puja Swamiji. Bhashya, maybe that's the word where lassitude comes. Yes. Have to see. Oh, really? Oh, fantastic.